Hi. How are you, Chuey?
Very well.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to be met.
Wow, this is awesome.
You want to be in the middle?
You want to be in the
like
middle?
an ice cream sandwich?
Yeah. Hey.
Thought you'd never
White
ask.
shirt.
You heard about my superpower.
I've waited 15 years to tell you this. He looked like a man. Okay.
Yeah, I tell you everything, you look like a man.
All right. I'm done. I'm done. We're done. Thank you. You guys, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is amazing. How awesome is it to be able to have a job for this long?
Real awesome. Yeah.
In this business, it's almost unheard of. It's fantastic. And it keeps changing and like I said, every time we get a script, there's something new and hilarious. So it doesn't ever feel stale to me, which is rare.
How much laughing goes on in those, recording sessions? Tears of joy and hilarity.
A good bit. I think the real laughing happens in the writer's room when you're pitching.
We've been lucky to do both voices and write, and that's where the fun is.
Yeah, when you're pitching jokes, a lot of which don't make it into the show for decency reasons. I mean, the writer's room is no holds barred. It is just everyone is just getting ripped, and not as in drunk, but in getting their ass ripped.
It's really fun. It's a fun environment. It's tough too. It's when I was in that writer's room, it's some of the smartest people I've ever worked with, and so the bar is raised. Every day you're kind of getting smarter and edgier and trying things out, and by the end of it you have no fear.
And learning new forms of comedy too. I remember I've learned so much from different people, and can go back home, and all of a sudden I've got this whole new repertoire of comedy, and So.
Are we getting more conservative? Are we having more fun now? Can we get away with stuff still like when the show started? Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's certain things we wouldn't pitch now, and some of it is the change in the climate in the world, but some of it is also we're older. We're married. We have kids. Some of us are divorced. Our experience changes, so the comedy changes naturally.
Yeah.
So some of it is. Tiny bit maybe we hold back because we think the climate, but a lot of it too is just we've matured. Your comedy matures.
Yeah, you've sort of done it. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, and then you are a little sensitive now. Like I don't want anybody to take anything the wrong way. Right. Like I'm coming from a good place and I'm just making jokes, right. But still, there's no context reading something online. You don't hear sarcasm or irony or a crazy voice saying something as if, so.
Animation is it's a lot easier to get away with some things because it's coming out of a cartoon face. Right. But yeah, I do kind of miss some of the freedoms and silliness that you'd say something and, even doing stand-up, you try something, it's terrible, and you draw the line
stuff that you just wouldn't do.
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah, you can't do that.
Take that the wrong way.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag me too.
With that, Alex? Are you okay with this joke
that
I just did?
I'm all right.
Okay.
Hashtag yo también.
I'll take
Go
a turn.
ahead. Your turn.
I'm
For
not
instance,
okay with this.
This doesn't make sense though. I'm doing nothing.
You got to be wearing something.
I know. Yeah, but I think we're still. I think it also forces you. Many times, the standards and practices at Family Guy would say, "No, you can't do this joke." Right. We'd be bummed at first, and then we'd find a workaround that was even funnier and more creative.
Right.
And you rose to it. So sometimes it's for the best.
We can't
Make you better. You get smarter. I don't know.
We couldn't say Dirty Sanchez. we called it a Muddy Ramirez.
We coined a phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my.
Muddy Ramirez. I'd rather get a Muddy Ramirez.
See?
That's right. It's really the same thing, I would think.
Yeah, and for kids or someone who's watching this right now and wants to get into voice work, what would be like that first bit of advice for them?
Listen.
Be talented.
Yeah.
No, I think, listen, watch a lot
Listen to
mimicry.
people talk.
Mimicking is how both of us, I think, kind of started.
Yeah. You just hear something and then you throw, Herbert was a nice old man at a grocery store when I was growing up, and I'd, pitch one pedophile joke in that voice, and that's, there you go. So. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
No, but listen, and get yourself out there. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think, one of the reasons I think, I'm a huge fan of immigrants, being the child of one, but if you grow up with several languages in the house, you have an ear for accents, and you have an ear for your tongue can do different things, your vocal cords, and thank you. But honestly, it really helps. I think that helps a lot to be able to mimic and do other voices
And create your own stuff. Like, you know, because when Family Guy was canceled, I auditioned for voices. You know, back in the day after season 3, we were down for like a year and a half. I auditioned constantly and got nothing. But, you know, if you're making your own stuff and your friends and Seth and people who are creating stuff have you in mind, you know, you can collaborate and come up with really great stuff. So
I used to make it rain on yourself when you go to the bank. I love it.
there you go.
Yeah.
But I would say hone what you're doing first and then throw it out on YouTube. Like, don't immediately make yourself a YouTuber and do terrible voices and cheesy accents.
Boil it down, and that's what I mean. Seriously, now like everything, you know, it's all the broken takes are basically everywhere. It's like no, polish it and then get it out there.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I love your hair.
Thank you.
Is this the before and after, or what? Because it's kind of.
Who's the before?
This is the before.
Then yes.
It's insulting on both ways.
It's just because I'm whiter. That's what his point.
No, you guys are the same beige. Congratulations, you guys. So long, you know, so many years doing this show. How does one keep it fresh? Because I'm a radio DJ, and I've been doing radio for almost 15 years plus, and it's hard for me sometimes to keep it fresh. How do you guys do that?
There's always new stuff to steal.
Right.
I mean, wherever you look, people are doing good work that's funny, and then we think we'll just borrow that. No.
We have a great group of writers, and they make us laugh. We make each other laugh every day. And so as long as we can keep doing that, it feels fresh and new. So
Like Damien Fahey.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's my buddy.
All right,
He's
sure.
now doing a couple of very funny voices for us.
Really?
Yep.
Really? How does one get into the voice game? Because I've been told I have an amazing voice, and I should do VOs. So how does one get into that?
Well, it's just kind of who you know.
Yeah. Story of my life. Story of my life right there.
A number of our writers, including Alec, do voices on the show, and it's because back in the day when Seth was in the room all the time, Alec would pitch these characters and pitch just to get it into a script, and Seth would then cast. And his sense is, let's give the writer a shot. And then he'd record them, and if he thought it didn't turn out great, he moves on unsentimentally.
Right.
But if he liked them, he would give Alec more and more voices, and we do the same thing, and Damien, exactly the same. You know him, he's a good performer, he was a host on MTV, and he now pitches things, and we think, well, we're not going to find someone who does it better, so he now is a pretty reliable, resource for us.
I love that. For people who are watching this right now, how is it different writing an animated story than just like a regular, episodic?
Well, it's freeing. I mean, obviously, we have the ability to set the story anywhere and to cut away and go anywhere, at any time. So it's very freeing. And just the fact that they are cartoon characters, you can use that Looney Tunes side where, wacky cartoon things happen. And then I think it makes the real comedy even more effective because you have it sort of set against this wackiness on one side.
I think, in fact, we have a large staff of really talented writers, and I think there's honestly more things to do on our show because you need to have a story that maybe you could have told on Everybody Loves Raymond, or maybe you could have told on Friends. And then as we execute it, the turns we take and the flights of fancy and the cutaways make it more Family Guy, but you still need that story that feels like, oh, right, this is taking an interesting turn and there's stakes involved and how will it... So we try to do both those things. But like Alex said, it's both freeing and intimidating because you're thinking, I could set a scene anywhere and still I can't think of a scene. Right. What does that say about me? But,
What has been like your all-time either favorite episode of all time or that one line that just kind of stuck with you and just keeps you laughing after all this time?
Oh, well, there's a bit that never aired but did air on a DVD where Peter is in the army and he's taking orders from a sergeant, and the sergeant is saying, okay, we're going to go take this hill and get the enemy out of a bunker, and all Peter is hearing is, okay, so we're going to go kill Pat Tillman. And then what do we do? So every time they repeat the order to him, all he says, okay, we shoot Pat Tillman, and then what do? It's a great long bit. And the funny coda to that bit is we couldn't air it, and we put it on a DVD. Pat Tillman's brother saw it and got in touch with us telling us how much he loved the bit, which was
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That means a lot.
I think mine is probably Marge, I think he's talking to you. Oh no, that's the
that's
wrong.
The Simpsons,
Yeah. Oh well.
That's
No,
a great line,
I'm
though.
just kidding.
So witty.
I think honestly, I think our 300th episode that aired this past season is my favorite. That Cherry Cheever Babadumrang wrote, and it's Brian in a drunken rage rips Stewie's beloved Rupert, the stuffed animal, and kills him. And it's a huge break with Brian and Stewie, and it's both funny but also emotionally involving. It's a really great episode.
I love it, man. Well, you guys keep creating, keep making us laugh. I love this show.